If you're looking for a new putter at the end of 2024, this putter right here changed the game and changed what you thought when it came to putting. And guys, if you are new to the channel, then please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining us on that journey to 50,000 subscribers. And if you're a regular viewer of the channel, welcome back. But let's start to talk about putters. L.A.B certainly changed everybody's opinions on what they want with the demonstration of how this putter exactly works, and also how many tour players put this in the bag. We'll say that these tour players maybe weren't the most consistent putters, they didn't have a putter that suited them the best, but then they went to this and we saw that they did. Obviously there is a lot of technology in this putter that we will go through, but they started to putt a little bit better. And the reason being for that is this putter is designed to not have much twist. So we're not getting any kind of twist on this face. This putter is not going to go back and open and come through and close. So it's going to be very consistent that this is going to stay nice and square to its line and its target. So for those putters, they were able to start getting that ball rolling better, pace control was better, and they were starting just to have a little bit more feedback on why they might have been missing those putts. And you can see right there, for me, I can see its pace, but that ball rolled perfect. Now, L.A.B have plenty of options out here. This is the Mez one. This is probably the most popular one. This is the one that I see the most. But now when we're talking about putting, it used to be Scotty Cameron, it's now thinking L.A.B, but there's more putters coming out with this technology. And this one right here from PXG is the latest. So the Allen putter here has something that you will see in a lot of videos of late. It has very similar technology. I won't say it's exactly the same, and again they use different devices. So if you're a fan of L.A.B and you've seen that they do have the square device where they can start to see that there is no twist and bend in there, that is exactly what L.A.B is designed for. PXG have a different device to test theirs for how obviously it doesn't rotate as much. We have more control on there. Again, this one a little bit more traditional, and there is a new L.A.B putter coming out which I won't say looks like this, but it is a more traditional look down behind that golf ball. But both certainly have their traits to help you start the ball online a little bit better, and this is where these putters can fit any stroke, or this is what they say. Obviously this is going to keep that face square, so depending on what kind of stroke you have, there's going to be less rotation. If there's less rotation in the face, we know you're going to have a better chance of starting that ball online. Once we've got the ball online, we can figure out, right, okay, there, what was it? Was it my green read? Was it my pace? And then we can become a better putter. These putters aren't the cheapest, both coming in at over £400, but think about it, this is a club that you should be using the most in your bag. If you're not using this the most in your bag, it might be time for a lesson or to check out our Get Good at Golf channel, because this is obviously the one we should be using. If we have a 2-putt on every single hole, we're going to be having 36 putts. We don't use the driver 36 times, we don't use a wedge 36 times, so this is where I would suggest making sure that you invest your money, go and get fitted and make sure that your putter is doing what you need to do for your stroke. Now the big thing with these putters and the main focus on them is off-centered hits. We know with any kind of club, we're not always striking it perfectly out of the middle. So off-centered hits here are a big talking point, both with the Mez and the L.A.B putters, and also with the Allen putter. And I believe there are also some new putters coming out from another huge brand, which you might not be surprised at when they bring them out, because they're going to be very similar to these two. But it's about off-centered hits. So if we are hitting it off the toe, off the heel, are we still getting that ball speed? And I've set up here a totally scientific test. I've put a tee on the outside of the golf ball and I've got the ball closer there, so I can only hit this off the toe of that putter. For example, if I had a stroke that did maybe loop and I constantly hit it on the toe, how does it do for distance control? So straight off the toe there and straight away, a very good pace. That couldn't be any closer to the toe, but you see straight away there, ball speed is maintained. So ball speed is maintained because obviously of the design of this putter, where the weight is distributed. So let's do that again, get it as close to that tee as possible. And this is what the claims are from these. It's going to help you stop 3-putting, because after all, yes, we all want to have more 1-putts, but your percentages are exceptionally low. But if we 2-putt more and get rid of those 3-putts, we can get your handicap dropping pretty quick. So again, it also doesn't deviate and move too much offline. So there, it's not gone and opened the club face. It's not started, obviously, 3 or 4 feet right and stayed out there. How will the Allen compare? So we'll move those out of the way. And you might say there, yes, you've hit a couple of putts with the L.A.B, so this might work out better because you've got an idea of the pace. Again, faces are slightly different, but also we've got a man waiting in the wings to put these to the test on some longer putts and see which one he feels swings better and also feels better, because a similar price point like we've mentioned, but will the performance be the same? Again there, if anything, I would say that was a similar strike to the other two, a little bit shorter than the L.A.B, so maybe it hasn't come off as hot as the L.A.B, so maybe that L.A.B has that a little bit more forgiveness. That one a little bit better, but also shorter than the L.A.B. So interesting there. 2 putters tried, 2 same putts. For me, I would say the L.A.B felt a little bit more solid off that, and you're never going to try and hit it off the toe, but if your tendency in your strike was to be hitting it off the toe, if you got fitted for these putters, a L.A.B there potentially, for my totally scientific test, might come out on top. But let's get Dave in, let's do some longer putts now and see which one works the best for him. Right Dave, so 2 different putters in your hand. Yep. Straight away it looks like you're putting the PXG down, so we're starting with the L.A.B. Of the 2 you have looked and you have used before, which one would you say looks better to you behind the golf ball? Which one gives you confidence?
I actually think the PXG looks better.
Okay.
This just has a bit of a strange look from above.
Yep.
But I think that this one works better. But for looks, I've been going with the PXG.
Okay, and again, looks is one thing that you need to consider, because again, are you having more confidence if something looks nice behind the ball, you can practice with it and improve, or do you go for something that performance-wise just straight away works? Again, we're 30 feet away here, which tour average would say is very close to 3-putt territory. 33 feet on average is where tour players start to 3-putt. Let's see what Dave does. So, great pace there, Dave.
Decent.
Happy with that?
Very happy with that.
Right.
To be honest with you, when I hit it, I didn't feel as though I hit it off the middle.
No.
And so consequently I thought that was going to be short. But
right, let's switch over now, so let's make it an even test that we're not doing 2 and 2. Let's keep switching here, so let's see.
You're making it difficult for me, aren't you?
Again, behind the golf ball, Dave likes that shape. Very similar to a lot of putters out on the market at the moment.
Yeah. They both feel very light as well.
Okay. So, came off a little bit firmer, Dave. Yeah. Would you say the face feels a little bit different on that one?
Yeah, there was a bit of a jump about it as well, I don't know. Maybe I was hitting down on it slightly.
Yeah, a little bit. So again, technique is going to play in there, but it's getting used to, obviously, those different putter faces on there. Again, for me, I've used this for a while now and really got used to that. I've not done much time with Richard Jones's L.A.B putter. Richard Jones, a man of many putters. Again, great pace there. So those 2 right there from that L.A.B putter, I would say are tapping. So for me there, even with Dave's fantastic putting, he's not going to miss those. But that one right there from the PXG is a potential 3-putt, Dave, isn't it?
It is.
If that was for an under par score on the 18th at Garforth, the knees would be knocking, and you might not be feeling as confident, would you?
Not in a medal, not on a good score as well. Again, just come off a bit firm. But a good putt, but again past Dave, and both PXGs a little bit further away and testers. Feels a little bit harder.
Yeah, so very interesting there, guys, but we're going to get some numbers and some data on Capto with these and start to see, again, does the stroke vary? Do we have more control with the L.A.B, which we know there's a lot of people who do love this putter, or is it going to be more consistent with the PXG? Whew.
Side door.
But it's in. So first up, Mez 1. So as I hit these short putts with the Mez, it's very interesting, you'll see the numbers on screen. So from the 5 putts we hold 3, stroke average, on average working a little bit left, but face control 0.4, which again is something big on these putters. We can see that I'm hitting slightly up on it. We're not adding loft, and again the stroke acceleration and tempo is very good. From there we'd like to see that 3 out of 5 isn't bad at all. Tour average will be right on that mark, so again you've got to be confident from that. As we go into the longer putts, you can see that pace, again it was more, the pace was pretty good, the read was ever so slightly out, but dispersion, I did have one that was 3 foot short, which you will see I did knock in, and one around about 3 foot past, so it's bringing in that elusive 3-putt potential. And numbers wise, we saw that I lost a little bit of control on that putter face, so that was around about 3 degrees open, past 2 degrees left, so start line wasn't bad, but again you can see the tendency was to miss to the right. Right, in with the Allen, same test. Once we moved into that Allen again, we did those short putts. Very interesting that the path was very neutral, but face control was more open. So again, more open with the Allen putter, a little less control. Again, not really adding loft, but tempo and acceleration very good with these 2 putters. We then moved on to the longer putts, and we can see from those pace putts that I had a little bit more control on that stroke, and again hold one, but again 3 tap-ins, 1 went in and 1 was maybe a little bit of a tester, but more consistent on a different breaking putt. But guys, this is where it is interesting. So the Mez did feel a little bit better off the face to me, felt a little bit softer, but I had a little bit more control with my stroke and face, not so much maybe with the PXG, but I started the ball online better and I would have had less chance of 3-putting on those longer putts. So very interesting there. But the PXG is fitted, the L.A.B isn't. Do you want to see me go and get fitted for a L.A.B, get one that is exactly the right size for me, the right neck design, the right loft, and then do this test again? Really see that if L.A.B is still the king of this area. We know there's going to be some more putters coming out from pretty much every other brand, because putters are going this way. My Golf Spy came out the other day saying that every other putter that's ever been made will be obsolete after all the companies bring these putters out. So very interesting claims there. But do you want to see me get fitted? Do you want to see me put that to the test against the Allen or against any of the newer putters that are going to be coming out with this tech in them? Get in those comments below.